Hello.
Hello, everyone. I am Matt, aka Legion Rex, and welcome to what is sure to be a very spiritual episode of the G.A.P. I am your host. With me, I have my co-host Shane, aka the Bearded One. How are you doing today, Shane?
I'm doing great. I'm ready to talk about this motherfucking anime that Spencer has a personal grudge against.
So, Spencer, who's also our guest today,
yes.
How are you doing today, and why do you have a personal grudge against this show? Please explain to the audience.
So, for those of you, first off, I'm doing pretty good.
For those of you who didn't see the masterpiece, that was the last G.A.P.
That's episode 1. Watch it. It's very interesting. 2, because I used my one meta for the rest of the year, so until January 1st, I can no longer meta the randomizer, to try to get an anime that I'm very interested in called Bungo Stray Dogs. And instead of getting Bungo Stray Dogs, which is not the title or the title part of this episode, we got a random anime, which none of us have ever seen, called the Morose Mononokean.
You still got the pronunciation wrong, goddammit.
Mononokean.
There you go.
And I'm really angry, Matthew.
He's really angry. He's not angry at the fact that we didn't get Bungo at this point. He's more angry at the fact that this show is actually pretty good.
Yeah. I'm more angry at the fact that this was actually a really good anime, and I'm glad I got to watch it. So, fuck me, right?
Yeah, fuck.
Yeah, fuck.
The universe hates Spencer.
Mm-hmm. Oh.
Okay, so we don't have actually a lot to talk about today. We have simulcast discussion, but not too much news, so let's get right into the simulcast discussion.
Yeah, Shane, this might be actually a pretty short episode.
This might be pretty short. So Shane, what do you want to talk? Anything you want to talk about?
There's nothing really specifically I want to bring up, just because we're pretty much at the end of the season. None of my opinions of any of the stuff I've watched have really changed all that drastically. So instead, I just wanted to briefly go over my top 5 shows for the season, or what I think are my top 5, just to give you a rundown of what I think is the best and what you should watch if you haven't already. Which, it's like the middle of September. You probably should have been watching these shows if you were interested at this point.
Yeah, all of them are ending in like a week or two. So
yeah, around that time.
Or like they're going in mid-core. Because Banana Fish is going to be two core.
Yeah,
so
yeah. A couple of them are carrying over, but not a whole lot of them. But
yeah,
in terms of
Banana Fish,
yeah. In terms of my top 5 shows this season, easily my show, unless it royally fucks up the ending, and I don't think it will. My show this season is easily Planet With. I've been going on about this show since it started. If you've watched the podcast before, you know I fucking am in love with this show, and it just keeps getting better. So,
and I've been reading some stuff. People are starting to. It's a show that I think out of all the shows this season is the one that people are turning around on the most.
Is it finally picking up steam?
More people going up. It's finally a 7 on Mal.
Oh, fuck.
It's finally a 7. It should be much higher.
It should be a whole lot higher, but I digress.
It's actually fantastic.
I got out a piece of paper and I put down Shane loves Planet With. There you go.
Hold on to that piece of paper.
Okay.
Just keep it as like a good luck charm or something. I don't fucking know.
That's number 1 on the piece of paper. What's number 2?
Number 2 is obviously Attack on Titan. And,
of course,
Attack on Titan, there has not been a single point throughout the entirety of its run where Attack on Titan hasn't been anything less than stellar, and this season so far is no exception. The only reason it's not number 1 is because Planet With came out of nowhere and kind of rocked my fucking world. So, but yeah, Attack on Titan is just as good as it's ever been, and I wholeheartedly see it getting better from here. Which is saying something, because the show is already 10 out of 10 legendary material, but I digress. Number 3 is Review Starlight, just because this show is such a goddamn joy to watch. Matt would agree wholeheartedly with that.
Yeah, it's Review Starlight's probably going to be my anime of the season, maybe even anime of the year.
It's up there.
That's some heavy talk coming from
anime of the. Yeah, coming from the Plays Further, I thought was going to be like my anime of the year but after like that. But Review Starlight is everything I wanted in an anime. You want to know why? Because it's got cute girls, it's got awesome fights, It's got heavy thematic depth that you actually have to analyze, and I can think about it, and it gets better the more I think about it. It's got really damn good animation. It's got great framing, great directing, great writing, and it actually has a really and it actually subverts expectations. Yeah. So it's everything I want in something like this, and it's absolutely fantastic.
Also, the soundtrack.
The soundtrack is also like the best of the year, like no question here. And that's coming from a season. I feel like this season in particular has really good music. Like I mean, we've had good music throughout the year, but this season in particular, I think
this season, although kind of dead.
This is not a dead season.
Definitely not.
I'm okay. We say that every season, don't we? Though.
But you only say it's dead because you've only watched like 3 things.
Excuse me, I've watched at least 5.
Oh my!
It's soon to be 8 because I'm going to start Banana Fish and Starlight.
No, go on.
Say banana.
You said Banana Fish.
Yeah, Banana Fish and Review Starlight probably today.
It's review. We learned this. It's actually review.
Yeah, the goddamn giraffe fucking corrected me on that shit.
Oh, thanks, giraffe. Wait, what?
Just watch it.
Just watch it. You understand? Watch it. There's a giraffe. And
okay.
I understand.
I understand.
But
anyway, going back to my list, number 4 is Banana Fish, just because this show makes me feel things, not all of them good.
Is it bad? I don't know if it's a bad thing or good thing to say that I haven't been like fucking blown away by Banana Fish since the premiere, but it's remained the most consistently good show the entire season.
Yeah, I wholeheartely agree. Other than one recent episode, which, we won't get into because spoilers. Yeah, I'll agree with that. Like, the premiere blew everyone away. And then it just kind of it kind of kept a very steady level of quality throughout the rest of its run. Like, I'll agree wholeheartedly with Matt. The premiere blew me away, but then since then, nothing except episode 9 in particular, nothing has really gotten back to that level. But it's still been really freaking good.
I think it hasn't blown me away because every episode's been probably as good as the premiere. So I think that might be it. There hasn't been an episode better than the premiere, though there hasn't been an episode worse than the premiere. They've all been consistently great, and that's a testament to the quality of the show. I actually think that it is so consistently great.
Shane,
yes,
can I guess your number 5?
Go for it.
Is it Happy Sugar Life?
Close.
Happy Sugar Life is really fucking good.
My number 5 is actually a tie between 2 shows. Happy Sugar Life and Hanebado.
I haven't seen Hanebado.
Which neither of you have been watching, and Hanebado is really good character drama.
I've heard that, yeah.
It's really good character drama, and it's got some of the best visuals this entire year. However, it's tied with Happy Sugar Life, because Happy Sugar Life has been a fucking trip, dude. Like, holy god.
It's Happy Sugar Life might have some of the best directing I've seen all year.
It's in my contention for best directing of the year.
Yeah, it is best directing of the year. I love it so much. The episode 3 when she's like going up the elevator and it just
that whole scene. Oh god,
fucking 5 to 6 minutes is showing her just her going to the elevator, and you know what's up there. You know she's not gonna find Shio. But it just drags it out with like no music, just like limited sound.
I was the one who was like, oh, this scene is so fucking tense. And that's just one of many scenes in the show. Like, this show, out of anything else this season, I have specifically been picking out scenes where I'm like, this is really good directing. This is really good directing. Look at the storyboarding. Look at the music choices. Look at the atmosphere. Like, no other show has been like opening my analytical eyes as much as Happy Sugar Life. And that's saying something.
This is the film anime.
This is the film majors anime of the season.
Yeah, if you're that and Review Starlight, I think.
Yeah.
But like those are the two. If you're a film major like us, and except Spencer's not a film major.
But he still really likes movies. So.
I like film, so.
But yeah, that's those are my top 5 of the season. I don't think at this point anything's going to change about it, but we'll see.
Well, my top 5. Number 1 obviously Review Starlight.
Mm-hmm.
Number 2 for me is Banana Fish.
Mm-hmm.
Then Attack on Titan. That could Attack on Titan could technically change because if they adapt what I think they're adapting this season, because those first 3 episodes, let's be honest here, those first 3 episodes are nothing short of incredible.
Mm-hmm.
So like it's and we know what's coming. We can mention it because of the spoilers. Levi's an Ackerman. So Levi is related to Mikasa in some way, shape, or form.
Brother, cousin, I don't know.
I know how they're related. I ain't gonna say though.
Well, I don't think so.
I know how a lot of things are related, and I'm gonna say shit.
Number 3 is Attack on Titan. Number 4 is probably Planet With. That could go up if they stick to landing because I just love Planet With right now.
And is number 5 Happy Sugar Life?
Yep.
Thought so.
We pretty much have the same lists.
Yeah, almost identical.
Now it's Spencer's turn for top 5. Let's see. Number 1 is Attack on Titan Season 3.
Holy crap, I couldn't tell because Kenny!
Because 1, I can finally talk about the Uprising arc. 2, I can finally talk about Kenny. 3, it's just really fucking good, dude.
It's really fucking good.
4, the introduction of Kenny. He just shoots somebody in the head. It's fucking...
He just shoots a bitch in the head. It's like, yo, Levi, long time no see.
Long time no see, Levi.
You still a runt, or are you grown up yet? Like, fuck it. Okay, good. 2 is probably going to go to Cells at Work. Because it's really cute, but it's also educational. It's cute-educational.
It's great. Cute-educational entertainment.
You should watch it. It's actually really good. 3 will probably go at this point to Happy Sugar Life.
Even though Spencer hasn't gotten to the really crazy stuff
good
yet.
Shit, but I've gotten to some crazy shit. And I'm trying to think of the last anime to make me feel this uncomfortable and tense.
Mm-hmm.
Did you see the scene where she gouged out someone's eyes?
Yes, I think so.
When it's done from the perspective of the guy who's getting
yes.
gouged out.
Yeah. Yes, I did see that.
Red, and it's just, and then you see the aftermath, and it's like, ugh.
Yeah, it's really good. 4 goes to 1,000 Noble Musketeers because I'm the only one watching it, and it's radical.
Bitch.
It's radical. It is okay. It's not a good anime, not at all. However, if you just want to watch old school guns face off against new school guns in kind of okay but not super fantastic animation, but it's still pretty cool, look no further than 1,000 Noble Musketeers, or play the Otome. I really don't care.
Also, if you had a fetish where you want to see the guns turn into cute boys, this is the show for you.
If you want to take your love of the First Amendment to the next level, here you go.
Second Amendment.
Oh, yeah, never mind. Second Amendment. If you want to
We're not American.
If you want to take your love of the Second Amendment to the next level, here you go. This is the anime for you.
Here you go. Here's the best thing to jerk off to. I don't know.
And number 5, I don't know, Planet Whip, because
I thought you were going to say Chio.
No, I've kind of dropped off of Chio.
Good.
A lot of people are dropping off of Chio.
Like you should.
I might watch an episode. I might. Or I might just continue to watch something more interesting, like 1,000 Noble Musketeers.
Or just watch more Planet With, dude.
Or I'll watch more Planet With. But yeah, no, Planet With is probably 5, because the first episode was pretty radical.
Yeah.
It only gets better from there, dude.
Next episode, we'll give our end of season awards, so you'll learn exactly how everything stacks up.
Yep.
All right, so... And with that, I think that's all we want to talk about simulcast. We have 3 pieces of news.
Yeah, let's get to the non-existent news section for this week.
It was dead this week, and I had to scrounge for this. But I think you'll enjoy I think you'll enjoy what I got, because some of them, some of them are for stuff that we really enjoy. All right, so first of all, Earlier this year, we covered a little anime thanks to the randomizer called Poco's Udon World.
Oh no, don't get my hopes up, man.
It's not a second season. I'm gonna tell you that right now. It is not a second season. Instead, it's not. It's kind of sad news. The current manga will end in March. The manga for Poco is ending in March.
But that could mean second season eventually.
Possibly, I don't know. The 11th volume in Dodaka Shimara's Poco's Udon World manga, revealed on Friday, the manga will end with this 12th bulk volume, which is sated the ship on March of 2019. The series follows Sota, a 30-year-old man who was the son of a Udon shop owner who has passed away. Shota goes into his hometown and finds a strange lost child inside his father's old shop. The show, now, I don't know if this means second season. Probably not, because apparently the anime had an anime original ending, so I don't think it's... So I think that more than likely Poco is pretty much completely done at this point.
Mean, that hasn't stopped other shows from doing that, like Blue Exorcist. It could happen, maybe?
I don't think so. The manga's wrapped up, and if the manga's wrapped up, that probably means it's pretty much done.
Dude, any hope I can have for a second season of this fucking show, I'll take it. I don't even care. I just want it.
Shane loves his Poco.
Fucking Poco, so goddamn good.
Yeah, but Poco's ending in March. Hopefully that means we get the manga actually like licensed and shit, so we can actually fucking read it.
Yeah, I'd like to read the manga actually.
Because they're currently unlicensed, because fuck us, am I right?
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of manga, for those following Jump manga, Promised Neverland has just entered its final arc. Manga creators Kao Shirai and Pusaka Demosu revealed in the comment section of the 45th issue of Shonen Jump magazine on Monday that the Promised Neverland manga has entered the final arc. He stated in an interview back on August 21st that he would like the story not to extend too much, in accordance with the story's editor, adding that the length of the manga should be ideally 20 to 30 volumes long. Currently, it is at 10 volumes.
That means this arc's going to be fucking long.
Yeah. The surprising edge from the manga said in an interview that the manga reached a turnaround point back in February. The term turnaround point often refers to a halfway point, although the editor did not clarify whether the manga is halfway done in terms of length or simply reached the second of two major parts to its story. There will be, as we all know, Promised Neverland is getting an anime adaptation that will premiere in January of 2019. That will be done by Studio Cloverworks. So if you and since it's entering its final arc, this is basically, there's no more excuse to not read / watch Promised Neverland when it comes out.
Yeah,
there's no more excuse. If you want to read it, this is the actual perfect time to start reading, because it's entered. It's basically halfway done at this point. So get on that shit. I'm definitely getting on that shit. I actually have plans to probably start reading it in October-ish. Once again, because I'm currently reading Ancient Magus.
I'm going to wait until the anime starts, watch that, and then from there I'll continue with the manga.
Yeah, it's like what I did with the My Hero.
Yeah.
Yeah. I want to do that. I was going to do that, but I decided fuck it. And
just fuck it. You know what? Get back to me next week. I could just say fuck it. But that's my plan right now.
Fuck it, because I've heard nothing but amazing things about the Promised Neverland. So it's like one of those things where I've been read the manga for years. This is not.
This is nothing new. Disclaimer.
Yeah, there's nothing new. I had this on my list for a long time, but it's finally like I might actually be getting to it now. It's also the first Shonen Jump manga with a female protagonist, which I find very interesting. Which is funny considering that Bleach almost had Rukia as its main protagonist.
That would have been cool.
But Jump said no. So
okay.
But with that, Promised Neverland's entering its final arc. Y'all go read it. We'll read it.
Go read it. Go watch it. Whatever you want to fucking do. I don't care.
The last piece of news is business news. So I apologize if this is kind of dry. But it's that which studio had its best year since when the original Attack on Titan premiered. Last year, List Studio did not have a good year last year. They actually had losses last year. But they didn't do very. But this year they reported a 60% increase in sales compared to last year, mainly thanks to the massive success of Ancient Magus.
Yeah, I was gonna say this is an Ancient Magus boom.
This is mainly because of the massive success of Ancient Magus, especially considered that Attack on Titan actually underperformed last year in DVD sales, which is
it did.
Not a good thing going forward, actually. I would say that. Not a good thing going forward. But I mean, it underperformed. It still did bonkers well, but like it underperformed compared to the first one. It also Wit Studio is actually owned by Production IG, so Production IG and all of its separate companies actually reveal all of their sale profits. And out of all of them, Wit Studio is the only one that actually reported increases. All the other ones apparently reported losses, including Production IG themselves, because they didn't have a very good year either. Neither did Zibek, was also owned by Production IG. They didn't have a good year either this year. So I'm not surprised Production IG this year, the big stuff this year was the new FLCL stuff and Legend of the Galactic Heroes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And Legend of the Galactic Heroes didn't do very well. It did all right. It did all right, but like it's niche. And then FLCL Progressive, well, it did very, very well in ratings wise. It got really divided reception.
Yeah.
Which is hurting Alternative because Alternative's ratings like plunged. So like
I was gonna say I hope that Alternative does better because it did look like the more interesting of the two series, but
I haven't seen Alternative yet. I know the first episode premiered, and I want to watch it, but from what I've heard, it is like a little. From what I heard, it's like a lot different than other FLCLs. Like it's not. It's like imagine FLCL if it was a more standard slice of life.
That does not sound like FLCL.
But that's why it's called FLCL Alternative.
True.
I mean, apparently it's like a slice, like a really like normal, like cute girls doing cute things, slice of life, and then Haruko shows up and everything goes insane.
Because of course Haruko fucks everything up.
Because it's Haruko.
All she does.
That's all she does.
She
but
gets on her fucking flying Vespa and just fucks shit up.
Yeah, that's what she does. What I find funny from Progressive is that the main character didn't get hit by a Vespa; they got hit by a car instead, which should have killed them.
Yeah,
but
it should be dead.
And she got hit in the exact same way that the main character did in the original with a car, but instead it was with a car.
It's like imagine if just imagine if tiny ass Naota got hit by like a fucking Chrysler or something.
I just imagine like a fucking Humvee comes along and just fucking splats onto Naota.
He gets splatted on the windshield like a bug.
Fucking it's just a bug. It's like get his fucking just have to wipe him off of the fucking,
and then that's it. Credits roll. That's the end.
That's the show. That's the fucking show.
I think I can.
His his dead mangled corpse.
The Pillows still get paid for an entire OST, but they only use one song.
They made an entire show's worth of music, but they only used like 2 songs.
A fun fact, actually, about the Pillows. This is off topic, but I told Shane about this a couple of days ago.
Oh yeah, I read that, right.
The creators of Planet With, he's a mangaka, and he had a manga called Lucifer the Biscuit Hammer that was really popular for a little bit. And apparently, back in 2008, 2009-ish, Gainax and him were prepping back when Gainax was still really big. They were prepping an anime adaptation of the series, and Pillows was slated to do the soundtrack, but it never went through because the Pillows were unavailable at the time, and there were creative differences, and I use that in air quotes, between Musashima and Gainax. Probably because Musashima refused to do it without the Pillows, so he kind of bailed.
So yeah, there was no Lucifer and Biscuit.
Yeah,
anime.
Instead they already put funding into it. So instead, they're like, okay, we put funding into it. We have to make something. That went to a little show known as Panty and Stocking. So Panty and Stocking, in some way, shape, or form, was initially intended to be an adaptation of Lucifer and the Biscuit Hammer. Obviously, the two are very, very different shows.
very different things.
I
But
also love how you're just completely glancing over the fact that the name is Lucifer and the Biscuit Hammer.
it's have you seen Planet
Japan,
Whip?
dude.
Have you seen
Japan.
Planet Whip? You should know that he's weird.
I've seen the first episode of Planet With. It's weird, but it's not Lucifer and the Biscuit Hammer.
It trust me, it's actually not a biscuit hammer. It's a hammer that can destroy the Earth, and the Earth is considered like a biscuit. So
Fuck it. Okay, sure, man.
We have gotten very off topic.
yeah, we got very off topic, and with that, that's literally all the news that there was this week. It was dead.
It was so dead.
It was mega dead, and I'm really upset because I want more news sometimes. Because it's like, what am I supposed to talk about?
Yeah.
In any case, we do have anime sales to talk about if y'all are interested in that. Which are also mega dead because
I was gonna say, I'm assuming the sales are also fucking dead.
It's also mega dead. It's so dead, in fact, that some anime that weren't in the chart last week came back up because all the other ones didn't come out. Because fucking the limited edition of A Silent Voice, which has been out for weeks, by the way, like half a year, it has not been on the charts since for like a couple months, came back, and it only sold like 270 Blu-rays.
That's great. When are we getting it here?
Hopefully soon, because I need it. The only big piece of news is that Legend of the Galactic Heroes continues to underperform. So there's that,
And that's sad.
But they're gonna keep. It's gonna be. I have a feeling it's gonna be one of those shows that apparently, like, the reason why they keep doing Legend of the Galactic Heroes is because it sells really high, like, in merchandising. So, like, in terms, it's a popular with the same crowd as the Gunpla crowd for Gundam.
Yeah.
So, like, it's going to sell hotcakes for, like, merchandising. So they're gonna keep making them just because gotta get that sweet ass merchandising cash.
Yeah, and this new Legend of Galactic Heroes is already confirmed for a second season next spring. So there you go.
Yeah, it was confirmed for a second season before the first season even premiered.
So take that as you will.
So take that as you will. Will it get canceled? Probably not. Japan actually doesn't cancel things too often.
That's pretty good art.
It's damn good art, yeah.
Yeah.
No. I just googled Lucifer and the Biscuit Hammer. It's pretty good.
God damn it, we're not going off topic again, Spencer.
We're not.
I'm not. I just wanted to say that if it was an anime, depending on the company that did it, it would have good art.
Well, it would have been Gainax, so it probably would have been, you
Get
cock.
off my dick, Shane!
This podcast is already.
This is the worst podcast we've ever done.
A disaster. For the fucking I knew the Morose Mononokean would fucking ruin
It would
us.
tear us apart from the inside.
It would tear us apart.
Mononokean.
There's two no's.
All right, and with that, that's all for anime sales. And with that,
Speaking of Mononokean,
speaking of Mononokean, let's talk about our featured the real reason y'all are here, and that's our featured anime of the podcast, which is the Morose Mononokean, directed by Akira Ikunawa and written by Tako Yoshishika from Studio Purio Plus. It aired for 13 episodes from June 28th, 2016 to September 20th, 2016, and is currently licensed by Funimation, and you can watch it on their website in both sub and dub. It is a go in the link in the description if you want to watch the Morose Mononokean. The Morose Mononokean follows a recent high school boy named Hane Ashiya, who one day on the way home gets possessed by what looks like a fuzzy demon. It starts draining his life energy, makes him really ill. So for the first week of high school, he can't really do anything. Until one day he comes across an ad for an exorcism. He goes to the exorcist, whose name is Haruski Abeno, who is the master of the Mononokean, who exorcises demons and sends them to the other world upon their request. He ends up helping Ashiya, but in return holds a debt over him in order so he can get holds a debt over him. So in order to pay off his debt, Ashia must work for Abeno, and thus hilarity ensues as he tries to help Abeno exorcise demons and send them back to the underworld. All right, so let's start with Spencer, actually, because I think that's the person you want to hear the opinion for the most in this case.
Yeah, seeing as how the show fucked his chance of watching Bungo this year.
Yeah, so Spencer, what did you think of the Morose Mononokean?
Really good anime.
That's what he thought of the Morose
That's
Mononokean.
what he thought. That's...
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was a good anime. Okay.
It was a good anime.
I enjoyed it. It was charming. It had some comedy bits. It was more drama than comedy.
Yeah, this is misgenred as fuck.
Yeah.
By the way, this is not a comedy show.
This is a fucking character drama.
It has really good characters, and the music is really, really, really good. And it's not Bungo though, so I give it a 0 out of 10.
He's gonna have that chip on his shoulder the entire year.
Until
he can meta the randomizer again, he's gonna hold the chip on his shoulder for the Morose Mononokean. See, you're killing Matt, Spencer.
The Morose Mononokean is forever going to be tainted in Spencer's view as the not Bungo anime.
The not Bungo anime.
That could have been Bungo, but wasn't fucking Bungo. But no, it was actually really good. I remember.
So Shane, what do you think of the Morose Mononokean?
Okay, well, seeing as how I didn't have the Bungo bias that Spencer did, I didn't really know what to think about the show going into it. All I heard is that it's similar to Poco, which if you watched our episode on Poco, Matt and I fucking loved Poco. And then I watched the first episode, and by the end of it, I felt myself tearing up. And then I watched the second episode, and I fucking cried. So, it's another one of those goddamn shows. It's really fucking good. There's a lot of good things about it. It's got really charming characters. It's got a great atmosphere. It really, really drives home its emotional aspects. Like, I think this show is one of the shows we've covered on the podcast that has done emotional set pieces better than anything else. Because, holy God, we'll get into that. But, yeah, I really, really enjoyed the show for what it was. Even if it wasn't quite as good as Poco was, I still enjoyed it for what it was, and it had a lot of good elements to it.
Yeah, I really liked this show. I didn't like it nearly as much as Poco. And I don't think I liked it as much as you two guys. I have a couple of problems with it, and I'll get into that when we get into that.
You'll be surprised by my rank, so.
Mine as well, actually.
But overall, I really enjoyed it. Like I said, the characters are really charming and really well developed. These are really well developed characters. They have really good the art. Some of the art style is just at times. There's some really good. There's some all of the atmosphere is great. The music is fantastic. I really love how slow it takes everything. Like, this is a very slow-paced show, but it doesn't, feel slow.
This is a super slow burner, but that's a good thing in this context.
Yeah, it's a super slow burner. I don't think there's any action in this show whatsoever.
No, there's not a single action set piece at all.
At all. You would... and for a show like Yokai, you would think that there would be... And what I find interesting is that for a show by Yokai, you would think there'd be there's at least one evil yokai. There's no evil yokai. They're all really friendly.
This show is like the anti-Kataro.
Yeah.
It's like the exact opposite.
It's the anti-Kataro, although I prefer Kataro, to be honest. But with that, let's get into specifics. We have a couple of the same some of the same responses for this, but I think some was shame for this one. What was your favorite episode of Mononokean?
I started thinking about it, and I had to stop myself from crying. Goddamn, it's episode 10. Fuck, it's episode 10. And the reason it's episode 10 is because by the end of this episode, I was a bawling little bitch. I had to get a hold of myself, because when I said earlier that this show really does a good job driving home its emotional weight. This is the episode that fucking... What are you doing? This is the episode that fucking really drives that home, because the entire story with Nobu... God damn it, Dexter, shut the fuck up. The entire story with Nobu and his friend in the field is just so fucking heartbreaking. I loved every second of it. So that's why that's my favorite episode.
All right, Spencer, what's your favorite episode?
My favorite episode is also episode 10, Cool. Reset the clock. It has been 0 days. Spencer has cried at an anime. Holy shit, this episode was completely unexpected. The emotional gut punch, as we called it, at the end, in which Nobu is apologizing to a scarecrow, which we can tell isn't a yokai. It's not alive. It's
just a fucking scarecrow.
It's just a normal, average scarecrow. However, Nobu saw this inanimate scarecrow as a friend and tried to protect it, and felt so guilty that he let his friend down, that his guilt kept him kind of put in place in the field where that scarecrow used to be. And
his guilt basically trapped him there.
Trapped him, thank you. Fuck, dude. Like, fuck. I was not expecting this. It was so fucking good, man.
It was really good, yes. But I'm
still not thinking about it, goddamn.
All right, so before I say my favorite episode, I just want to say that you guys are my friends. Because episode 10 was not my favorite episode. You would think that it would be, but it's not. Because instead, my favorite episode was episode 7, The Encounter, with Yahiko.
Yes, Yahiko.
Who's also my favorite yokai in the entire. One of the things I felt this show did really, really well was giving each yokai a very unique personality and unique characteristics. They spent a lot of time in this episode really going into Yahiko as a character. But not only that, but my personal favorite aspects of the show was not even the yokai stuff. It was the relationship between Hane and Abeno. That was my favorite aspect of the show. And this episode was a clear front runner for that particular plot point, because they do a lot of development in this episode to give Abeno a lot of development, a lot of context. There's a lot of context. To me, they're the best parts of the show, and this was one of the most enjoyable episodes. It mixed drama and comedy really well. The Fool came close. Fool is my second favorite. But I'm not going to lie, I did not cry as much as you guys did, so I can't, in good conscience, say that I liked it more than you guys. To be fair, when I was watching it, I was really fucking tired. And I think I was just like dead to the world. Other than that, yeah, episode 7 is my favorite episode of Mononokean. So, Shane, who was your favorite character in Mononokean?
I went back and forth on this, actually. Because there are quite a few characters in this show. This is one of those shows...
There's no bad characters.
No bad characters. It's one of those things. In terms of my favorite, though...
Fuzzy.
You know what? Fuzzy is a good pick.
Fuzzy.
Unfortunately, he doesn't really have a character.
He doesn't really. Honestly, to be fair, I don't think Fuzzy doesn't actually really do anything.
No, Fuzzy is just there to be cute.
Fuzzy's there because look at him.
Yeah.
So cute.
In terms of my favorite character, though, I'm probably gonna have to go with Ashia, because I feel like Ashia is like the driving emotional core of this show, because unlike Abeno, Ashia actually has a fucking heart for most of the show. And granted, Abeno comes around by the end. He starts to break out of his shell. But Ashia was like that since the very beginning. Like, he's the kindest motherfucker you could possibly find. And he's extremely selfless, to the point where he would literally die if it meant that he could save someone. If he could save a yokai. And I'm like, that's commendable, dude. I like you a lot. So yeah, I'd say Ashia is definitely my favorite.
Yes. So Spencer, I think we all know who Spencer's favorite is. So Spencer, who's your favorite?
My favorite is the character that is literally me to a T, and that's Abeno. Yeah, Shane's right. Abeno does not have a heart for most of the series. He could care less about the feelings of the yokai. The feelings of even his tea room itself. He doesn't care. He's doing his job. He sends yokai to the underworld. He has a deal going with the legislator, which is his boss. And you know what? He just thinks of everything as a job. However, I do agree that yes, as the series goes on, it's really nice to see him kind of very slowly, very small little itty bitty steps at a time, but he starts to break out of the shell. Oh, yawning.
You know what I do want to say, if I can interrupt. What I do want to say about Abeno is that the character I could relate him to the most is actually a character from a show we've also covered on the podcast. He reminds me of Mahiro from Blast of Tempest.
Yeah,
he does.
He's
really
like
does.
identical to Mahiro.
I think Mahiro's I think I prefer Mahiro.
Oh yeah, I do too. But just in terms of like,
I also like Shakespeare better than I like the entire country of Japan. That's it.
But yeah, like just in terms of like personality, character design, character traits, he is literally like the spitting image of Mahiro.
Oh, you mean Stone Cold Blonde Man?
Yeah.
Yes, but Abeno was like this. He was the Morose Mononokean. There you go. I keep on pausing at the last syllable so it becomes Kian.
Spencer, you doubted yourself because you actually got it right that time.
I know. I just doubt myself. But no, he is the fucking title character of the show. Without him, we wouldn't have an anime. And we wouldn't have a good anime at that. But he's just really, really good. Really, really fucking good.
Yeah. So,
yeah.
in that case, my favorite character, because I wanted to meme at first and say the Mononokean itself is my favorite character.
Technically, it is a character.
Technically, it is. It's got its own personality and everything, which I think is awesome and unique as hell, and I love that. But I am not gonna say that because that's dumb.
Yeah, the Room is my favorite character.
The Room is my favorite character, but that sounds like an insult to the show. To be honest, the Room is my favorite character.
The character that had the most personality out of all these fuckers is the room they hang out in.
But my favorite character is a character who doesn't really do who shows up early on and then comes back.
Oh, I know who it fucking is.
Is Zenko.
It's Zenko.
Yep.
It's Zenko. I feel like I think what really makes Zenko great is the fact that she's a great middle ground between Abeno and Ashia, because with Abeno, you have someone who just does not give a fuck, and Ashia, you got someone who gives all the fucks. Zenko is someone who gives half a fuck. She cares, but she's that grounding character who, for all this like mystical stuff, she's the one who grounds the characters in reality for a second. And I love her, and I feel like her, and I think having her in the series, I think without her, the series would probably lack that middle ground that it needs to work.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
It needs that middle ground to work. Plus, her episode dedicated to herself is really good. So, and her like whole and her relationship with her dad is really great, and I love her. And I like how like when she's actually able to see yokai, she can't actually really see yokai, but she can like sense them and kind of see them, but they're like transparent and kind of like ghosts.
Yeah,
I think that's a really cool idea. So like there's levels to like seeing them, and I think that's really cool.
Plus, she's the catalyst for introducing Yahiko, who is also a great character.
Yeah, who's my favorite personal yokai in the series that's not named Fuzzy.
Can we all just agree that Fuzzy is the real best character here?
That Fuzzy is the cutest fucking thing in the history of ever. It's so small and fluffy and cute.
I'm sorry.
What?
Oh, he's dying from the cuteness.
No, just continue.
All right, let's continue.
So,
did Spencer actually die?
No, I'm still here.
all right, Spencer's here. All right, so with that, Shane, who's your least favorite character?
Okay, like I said earlier, this is one of those shows where none of the central characters are bad. However, if there's one fucking character who I'd love to see die in a hole, it would easily be the douchebag merchant yokai that shows up in episode 4, just without even fucking questioning it, accuses Ashia of stealing from him, and then kicks the shit out of Fuzzy and almost kills him. And I'm like, you know what? You deserve to fucking die. Thank God you're in the underworld, you fuck.
Oh. So Shane's least favorite character is the yokai merchant from episode 5.
Yeah, because he almost kills Fuzzy, and he's like, I don't feel anything. Fuck you, you stole my ghost turnip. And then Ashia's like,
Whatever the hell
dude,
that was.
Ashia's like, dude, use your fucking head. I didn't do anything. And he's like, no, it's definitely you. You can go fuck yourself and fuck your pet.
All right. Spencer, who's your least favorite character?
1 second. Let me just put up my flame shield.
Uh-oh.
Oh no, here we go. Are we ready for a hot take?
Oh no, this is a magma take.
This is a volcanic take. Okay.
My least favorite character, and this is nothing against the character.
It's Fuzzy, isn't it?
It's Fuzzy. My least favorite character is Fuzzy.
Okay, how do we kick him? How can you do that, Matt?
First, no. First, it was Papika last week, and now it's Fuzzy.
You know what? I have a feeling that we should stop hiring Spencer.
Implying that we hire people.
Here's the reason why it's Fuzzy, okay? And it's a pretty reasonable reason, okay?
He doesn't.
For all intents and purposes, except for the first episode, what the fuck does he do? He is one of those characters that after the first episode, you could remove him, he couldn't come back, and it wouldn't change a lot. Okay?
Okay, I agree.
He's meant to be the cute character, and he is cute and adorable, and I would love a plushie of him to put with my Pen plushie, okay? I would love it. And I would snuggle with it, and it would be great. However, as a character, I have to draw the line at the fact he is literally just a cute pet that is made to be a cute pet. And I can't give that compared to the merchant who was actually playing a job and a role as the antagonist. Fuzzy is neither antagonist nor protagonist. He is just gonist.
I will agree. I will agree to an extent. I feel like once he's introduced to the main group from the legislator, I feel like, okay, he doesn't really do anything. I'll agree there.
I think the legislator gave Fuzzy to Abeno and Hashie, strictly just to get rid of them. Like God, Fuzzy keeps on shitting on the rug. Can you just take him with you?
Okay, I'll agree that the choice of the legislator to make him part of the Mononokean makes kind of no sense, and he doesn't really do anything. But we have hearts, Spencer.
His Japanese name, by the way, is Moja.
Yeah, Moja.
Oh, Mojo Jojo. Okay.
Mojo.
I have a heart. I have a big heart. However,
Sure.
my big heart does not stand with fuzzy yokai who've already been to hell once and then just got Deus Ex hellified back into existence. And
All
then,
right.
you know what he is? He's a pillow. There you go.
He is a pillow.
He is actually a pillow.
My least favorite character is that bitch from episode 9.
Oh,
fuck
the fucking
that bitch.
What? How are you gonna put this on a resume? Like, fuck you, lady.
Fuck you. That bitch annoyed. Again, like Shade said, this is a show where I didn't really hate any characters. I debated putting his friends on here because they don't really do anything, but I kind of like their personalities, so I was like, okay, I can't put them. But then I remembered that this bitch existed. So she's such a bitch that she doesn't actually even have a name in the. Her name is Mother.
Good to know.
Like it's she's I get why she exists. She exists there to challenge Ashia's own beliefs on yokai and to challenge his relationship with the Benno, and it sets up a lot of the stuff for the final couple of episodes. But she's still a bitch.
She's still a bitch.
Like,
she's a fucking cunt.
She's still a bitch. Her daughter was really annoying too. I'll did that too. I found her daughter annoying as fuck too. So like that was that.
I mean, I'd fuck her. But,
she's underage.
God damn it! Foiled and spoiled again.
God damn it, Shane! Stop going after.
God damn! Hey, Japan! Stop making all your hot female characters underage. How about that?
Just make them 18, and then it's okay if I want to wank to them. It's
Thanks.
alright.
Sincerely, a pissed off anime fan who just wants to yank it.
This is becoming way too real and also ethnically questionable.
Yeah.
Let's just continue.
Dude, the G.A.P has been ethnically questionable since the beginning.
Yes,
All
but we
right.
never talked about jacking off to underage anime chicks.
We
before.
watched an anime all about that.
It's called Nakaimo.
Shit, you're right.
I love how he said we forget about Nakaimo after.
It always comes back. It's a full circle, 24/7.
It always gets brought up.
It's a plague unto the G.A.P.
No, the fucking Nakaimo ruined us.
We will never recover from that. Anyway, let's talk about the actual good anime we're discussing.
Yeah, alright. So, anything else, like, good you want... I think there's a lot of good we actually want to talk about.
Yeah.
Because, honestly, the good stuff in this is a lot of the smaller details.
Yeah.
Let's talk about how gorgeous the Underworld fucking
I
looks in
was
this.
gonna say, can we talk about how the Underworld is the best thing in this fucking show?
It's gorgeous. It's a shame we don't see it enough. I think that's one of my issues with
That's
it.
literally what I said to Spencer before we started recording. I'm like, man, I love how the Underworld looks. I just wish that we spent more time in it.
We don't see enough of it. And, like, okay, we spend, like, 2 episodes world building, and then we go back into it, like, once at the end, and then that's it.
Yeah.
Like, it's a damn shame, too, because it's gorgeous. It looks
Yeah.
like an old Japanese painting, and it's, like, all, like, super colorful. And, like, okay, the animation in this show isn't necessarily anything special, but
The
it's not
art,
bad.
though.
The art is amazing, though. There's amazing artwork in this show.
Yeah.
Especially in the Underworld. Like,
Yeah, the Underworld
just-
looks fucking gorgeous. And speaking of the Underworld, I want to talk about how well the show subverts your expectations of what the Underworld usually is.
Because you think it's like this fucking, like, disturbing ass, like, fucking
You think it's
hellscape.
gonna be like a fucking hellscape full of like demonic creatures, but no, it's just a quiet, pleasant Japanese village.
It's a quiet, pleasant Japanese village where everyone's happy, and there's a lot of really, like, there's, like, a mix of different creatures. Some of them are more creative, some of them are cute, some of them are a little
And
spooky.
there's sunshine and rainbows, and everyone's happy. And
There's a person who wants to cut out Benno's eyes.
fucking Korra.
Cora, what the fuck is up with her, by the way?
I don't know. She's got some weird fetishes, dude. Okay,
She
just
has
don't
some
question
weird
it.
fetish. And then I'm pretty sure Shizuku has those same fetishes, so that's why she gets jealous.
No,
all the
she's
time.
got those. She's got those same fetishes. She just wished that Korra would do them to her.
Yeah.
Like, God, why do you want his fucking ears? My fucking ears are good enough for you, you bitch.
Yeah, and it's but I love the Underworld of the show. I also love. All right, normally when I see CG in an anime, I'm always like, eh. But I don't know. The CG in this was it worked.
Yeah.
It worked. It made the yokai look more like out of place, if that made any sense. It made them look more like spiritual and like out of place, like they don't fit in. My only issue with that is that I feel like if they did that, they should have made all of the yokai CG and not just like a select few.
And
'Cause
also,
not all of them are
and
CG.
also some of the yokai switch between CG and traditional 2D.
Mainly
so-
fuzzy. Mainly
Fuzzy,
fuzzy.
yeah.
Oh, Manjiro
Fuzzy
does
switches-
it too. There are a couple of
Yeah.
shots where Manjiro is 2D.
Fuzzy switches between CG and traditional animation
Animation.
quite a bit, actually.
And then there's Big Boss Scree.
Oh,
who
my
I-
Yeah, Big Boss
boss Scree!
and his adorable little children.
His
Child
adorable
yokai?
plant shrub children.
Yeah, that he birthed from himself. I don't know how they never explain how the fuck they exist, but I'm just gonna assume that he birthed them. I also want to say that the music in this show is really damn good too.
Mm-hmm.
It's like old-fashioned like Japanese music, like that Japanese harp you see in like a lot of like historical drama.
Ding 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 ding.
Yeah, it's got that one, and I don't know why, but anytime a soundtrack has those, I fucking love it. I love that. I love that style of music, and I love that. So I just love the music. Even the OP and the ED have that fucking the ED especially has that like the old fashioned Japanese feel to it, and I think that's really creative. Speaking, anything else you want to particularly mention? Because I think we're actually missing quite a bit. Because there's a lot of little details.
Yeah, there's a lot. There's a lot of small things.
It's a lot of small things that we could, if we took each small individual like detail and spent even like a minute on it, we'd have like 20 minutes of content to talk about.
Yeah.
But really, we could all just lump it into there's a lot of small things that they didn't need to do, but they did it anyways, and it's really appreciated.
There's a lot of really good stuff here.
Me and Matt talked about this actually, where there are certain things that studios will do that they don't need to, whether that be sound design and editing, whether that be specifically animating that help. But once they do these tiny things, studios, honestly, it just takes more time and money to do these small things. They could easily just ignore them. But it really adds to the experience, and it takes like a 7 or 7.5 anime up to an easy 8 or a 9 or 10 with these small details.
Yeah. Now let's talk about the stuff we didn't like. And I actually surprisingly have a couple of surprisingly big issues that are glaring.
I'm just gonna say tonal inconsistency or genre inconsistency more.
That's not my issue with it. I think it actually balanced the genres really well. I think Shane can me on that.
I didn't really mind
I found that it was the genres that were given to us.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, there were funny moments, but I wouldn't actually classify this as a comedy.
Because it's not classified as a drama in any way I find it. Like I would
classify this as a supernatural mystery drama.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, because it's technically classified as a comedy, and I thought it was going to be a comedy going in.
Yeah, I think we all did.
Yeah, because it also looks like one too. Like if you see the art, like some of the shots from this, you're like, this is probably a comedic show, but it's not. It's really not. And it's more dramatic than anything. But Shane, any particular issues you had with it?
I only really have one big issue with this, and even then, some people might not find this to be an issue, but I think Matt will agree with me that it does kind of bring the show down just a tad.
Mm-hmm.
Even though it does a lot of creative things with its yokai and its depiction of the afterlife and all that stuff, the show feels pretty generic at times.
It's pretty standard fare a lot of the time. Yeah, it is. That's one of my big issues too. It brings it down.
Even though it does a lot of great things with its depiction of yokai and all of the emotional drama that they throw in there, everything else pretty standard. Like, you've seen this before. And even though some people wouldn't find that as an issue, it got to the point where it felt standard enough to where it actually did bring my score down just a tad. Because, like, I've seen this before. I've seen this done before. Tons of places. Even though I really enjoyed what was offered here, it's not the first of its kind, and it doesn't really try to make itself stand out.
Yeah, that's one of my big issues, too. Like, I feel like it needed some more creative stuff in a show where there's a lot of creative stuff in it.
But not quite enough.
With its structure, I think. It's the structure that really gets me. It's structured very standard fare. And some of the stuff it deals with is like very, 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 very standard. Another big issue of mine, and I don't know if you guys picked up on this. There's a lot of like unfinished plot threads that are just like abandoned, and that really bugged me.
Yeah.
Now normally this is not a big issue because this is Mononokean is the first show we're covering that has it has a second season coming. Sometime we don't know when. There's a second season coming. So maybe a lot of these plot points will be explained in a sequel, but there's a lot of stuff that is just never explained. Like what happened to Aoi? What the fuck happened to him? Did he die?
That's the one thing. It's like they mentioned, like, oh, the reason Abeno became the master of the Mononokean is because he killed the previous master, and then they just go nowhere with it.
And they killed the previous master, and it's like, oh, no, I didn't, and then that's what it is.
No, I didn't, and that's all they say. They don't bring it up ever again.
They don't bring it up ever again, but they bring it up at the end with, like, when it's like, oh, Aoi is like, you're the new master, and it's like, so obviously it's still important. There's also the fact that, I don't know if you guys saw, during the episode with the merchant, like you mentioned, Ashia's hand starts, like, glowing
Yes,
blue,
I forgot to mention that.
And they never explain it.
It looks like he's gonna get some crazy, like, yokai powers, and then they just drop it completely as soon as Abeno shows up.
And then it's also everyone's like talking about how Ashia is is it a coincidence that like you picked up someone named Ashia? So I kept going like Ashia's important. Like yokai know about him. Like, is his family important? Like whatnot? And again, never fucking solved. They never fucking finish it. They never explain it.
Again, these aren't necessarily issues because there is a second season coming that will probably explain more, but as it is right now, this is what we watched. This is the definitive show that we watched. So,
and keep in mind that the second season wasn't announced till like earlier this year, apparently.
Yeah.
And so like and the show aired 2 years ago. So for 2 years, if you were a fan of this show, you were stuck. You had no idea if this was going to get adapted. Now the manga is available on Crunchyroll manga. If it is available. Apparently, a lot of this stuff still has not been explained in the manga either. So I don't know if that's just a problem with the source material. It's in that case, if it's a problem with the source material, that's going to bring it a lot down for me, I actually think. But other than that, most of my issues are the standard feel, some of the standard feeling episodes, a lot of unfinished plot threads, and my other big issue is that I feel like some characters don't get enough to do. I think that the show should have been longer. I think I
would have been okay with it being double core.
Yeah, this feels like a double core show that only got one core. Because the ending of the series too, like it's a good ending, but it doesn't feel like a series ending. It feels like a midway point.
You're 100% correct.
Yeah, so
because even I thought that like when they wrapped up, because at the end of the series there's a story arc with Ashia gave up his ability to see yokai to save a yokai. Now he's got to get it back, but oh no, it's not coming back. What do we do? And then they fix it, and then it's just like, okay, see you later.
Yeah, and it's like what? And it's and like the legislator barely shows up. The
legislator shows up twice, and he was in contention for my favorite character just based on his first appearance alone, and then I realized, oh wait, the show doesn't like having the legislator around.
Yeah, and then like then there's like other two characters, and one of my big issues with them is that like they only talk about what he does. They never actually show what he actually fucking does. Like, he just kind of, every time we see him, he's just kind of sitting around at the pond, like, smoking a pipe.
Yeah, he's just got a fucking pipe, and he's like, I'm the yokai king, apparently. I can do whatever the fuck I want.
And, he's like, and And he was this guy. It's like, oh yeah, he's chain smoking. He's got a gambling problem. He's a sex addict. And it's like, what? Like he does, like
This guy?
like this guy. And then we never get to see the justice or the executive or the other two heads. They don't exist apparently.
No.
Like they just don't exist because we don't see them. So like I this is why I'm looking forward to the second season, because then we'll get to see more characters, and I want to. We'll get to see like more of this world and possibly get some answers to some of the questions that were brought up in the first season. But I think we're pretty much done talking about it.
I think it's time for final verdicts.
Yeah, final verdict. Spencer, what's your final verdict?
Well, after hearing all that stuff, and that's why I was quiet, because I was thinking about my verdict. Yeah, you guys are right. You guys did it right. I was. Side note: can we call it the bungo bias? When you get a show that you didn't want, and then you end up like fake hating it. Can we call it the? I'm gonna write that down right now.
Yeah, write it in the G.A.P handbook.
It's in law. It's in no. We said it. Now it is law.
The bungo bias, and then registered trademark. There you go. Awesome. Anyways, I give the Morose Mononokean. The I can't pronounce it out of 10, otherwise known as an 8. I give it a solid 8 out of 10.
A what? A 7?
A solid 8 out of 10.
Oh, an 8. All right. An 8 out of 10. All right, Shane, what's your score?
Okay, I was talking about this with Spencer before we started recording. By the time I ended the series, by the time I finished it up, I was split on my score. It was either a high 8 or a low 9. My view shifted a little bit because I was going towards the 9 because I really did enjoy the show for what it was worth. But then talking about it with you guys, realizing its issues with the unfinished plot threads, the standard feeling of it all, the characters that go nowhere. Yeah, it's a solid 8, like middle of the road 8 out of 10. Like, I really did enjoy it for what it was worth. But after really thinking about it, there are quite a few issues that hold it back, which hopefully will be remedied with the second season. But for now, what we're talking about right now, solid 8. Could be better.
I'm really thinking about this.
Are you going to give it a 7, Matt?
I'm thinking about it. Because I don't know. Like,
I feel like Matt here is the one time he's going to be a dark horse with the ratings.
Because after I finished it, I was like, this is a solid 8. I really enjoyed this. Like, there was not a single moment of the show where I was like, I'm bored out of my mind. I was like enjoying it all the way through. And then I thought about it. The show's got some pretty significant problems. It really does, and it's holding it back from what I feel like a show that could be really, really good. And instead, it's just good. So yeah, I'm gonna give it a 7 out of 10.
Damn.
Yeah, it's good. Don't get me wrong, and I will highly, highly recommend it to anyone who watches it. But it has way too many small it has way too many significant issues in it that hold it back from being something really, really good.
That gives us an average score of 6. Keep talking. I'm just
it's one of the so yeah. So Mononokean gets a 7. I am definitely watching the second season when it airs.
Mm-hmm.
I am definitely watching season 2.
Yep.
Because I enjoyed the first season, but I'm definitely watching the second season when it comes out. Maybe it will be better. There has potential to be better because all the characters are already set up. You have apparently you got a different director too, involved with the second season. And that guy's done a couple of other stuff. He worked on Standalone Complex, and he recently directed Ore. So there's a lot of
shit.
So it could be quite possible that the upcoming season might be funnier than the first one, which could be very, very interesting.
Altogether, by the way, just as a fun little detail that I might start doing, the average score of R3 put together is 76%.
76%. All right. I would love to see, like, at the end of the year, maybe I might do this, is we take all the scores we gave and we give, like, an average score of, like, what our scores were.
Yeah, like an average. Gesundheit. Gesundheit again.
All right. So
anyway, I think we're ready to wrap things up.
I think we're ready to wrap up. And normally, this is where we would pick our featured anime of next podcast.
But
we have an announcement. We actually have an announcement to make.
Oh, shit.
We have an announcement to make.
Fuck.
What the fuck are you doing?
Spencer's dying.
Oh, shit.
Is Spencer
Okay.
drowning?
I got the papers out.
All right. So we have a special announcement. So normally we would have a featured anime, but we're not going to have that this time. Actually, it was 2 announcements. For one, on this Saturday or Sunday, next Saturday or Sunday. Well, not next, but like in a couple weeks.
It's 2 weeks.
Is in 2 weeks. There will be a special G.A.P podcast. There will be a special G.A.P podcast, which is we're going to be just talking about the My Hero movie. We all have our tickets for it. We're all going to go see it. It's going to be recorded in person. It's going to be, we're all going to be together. It's going to be tons and tons of fun. So I highly recommend you guys watch that. But the real big news is that October's coming up. So you know what that means. It's time for the month of Spook.
Ooh!
The month of Spook.
So let's talk about what the month of Spook is, because this has been something we've been talking about for a while.
This has been planned for months and months and months. We want to do this yearly as well. So this will be a beginning of an experiment to possibly see if this can be done. Month of Spook. For the first time in G.A.P history, there will be an episode every single week in October, where we cover a different horror anime every single week. The first week of October will just be us picking the anime that we cover on the podcast for the podcast. So there will be 5 episodes in October. So please stay tuned for that. The anime that we'll be covering will be revealed will be revealed in 2 weeks. Yes. So please stay tuned for that. Please stay tuned for that. And with that, I think it's done here. Mm-hmm. Now that we got the month of Spook out of the way. My name is Matt, aka Legion Rex. I am your host. With me, I have my wonderful co-host, the bearded one, aka Shane. Say goodbye to all the lovely people watching our podcast. Right
Hello
now.
And welcome. Bye. Shit. Can we do that again? Hold on. Let me stop the recording.
One second. Okay, ready, and take 2.
Zawaldo.
Time has begun flowing again. Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Goodbye, all you lovely people watching the G.A.P. And tune in 2 weeks for the prologue to the month of Spook, where we'll not only be talking about the shows we'll be covering, but also our seasonal awards for the summer.
Seasonal awards, what's coming out next season, what's coming on in the upcoming season, as well as what if there's more than likely there will be news. So of course we'll cover some of that.
Yeah. So get ready for the month of Spook, because it's going to be a fun one if we can somehow manage this.
It's going to be a fun one if we can manage it with both school and our own lives. It's going to be hell, but it's going to be tons of fun.
Get ready for a new episode of the G.A.P. every week in October, where we cover some spoopy shit. Spencer, say goodbye. Hold on, so wild though.
No, we're done. All right.
We're done. All right, we'll see you in 2 weeks, everyone. Goodbye.
We'll see you in 2 weeks. Later.
Thank you for listening to The G.A.P. If you like what you've seen, you can subscribe to the G.A.P. Podcast YouTube channel to get the latest podcasts as they go live. Be sure to like and comment and let us know what you guys think of the show. Thank you very much for tuning in, and we'll see you next week.